RB, what are the pros and cons of artists networking on Twitter and Facebook?
Well, I think, the obvious thing is access. We live in an age, a digital age, where, 10, 15 years ago, to go network with somebody, you had to be either at an event or, well, you had to be at an event, really, or you had to live in an area in LA or New York or London, let's say, where, the people that complemented what you were trying to do in your craft were available to you. But in, the digital world and with the advent of social media, you can reach anybody at any time. Now, your approach matters, of course. The way that you approach these people, it means everything, but you could reach, if you're a screenwriter and you want to reach a manager, if you're a filmmaker, you want to reach a producer, it's there, it's available to you at any time. It's just, very, very much a matter of approach.
Well, speaking of which, approaches that are conducive to a relationship and some that are not.
Well, I think the hey, check me out, hey, look at me approach never works. We see it in crowdfunding all the time where, people will say, look at my campaign. It's the same message to everybody. They're spamming, they're going down their list, their follower list and hitting every single person up with the same response. And to me, that's akin to walking into a crowded room where you're going to go network and walking up to everybody and going into there, screaming into the air, hey, look at me, or hey, give me money. That approach never works. It's the same thing with, just social media that's not crowdfunding, just trying to cultivate a relationship. I think a good approach is asking questions. You want to give first and then kind of ask second. Everybody has an ask, and I like to say that everybody in this world has something they're looking to accomplish. Everybody has goals, okay? Even the person that you're approaching has goals. They're looking to accomplish something. So how do you compliment them? What can you give them? What can you offer them? And maybe it's something as simple as, hey, I saw your film, if it's a producer, let's say, or a filmmaker, really enjoyed it. Why did you decide to shoot wide in that particular scene? Something engaging, something that makes that person feel like they're not just getting, that you're not just trying to get to them, okay? A lot of people, when it comes to social media, they see a large follower account or a lot of likes, or on Stage 32, for example, a lot of people in a person's network, and they immediately think, oh, I have to get to that person, and the approach is waving and screaming, and it doesn't work. I always say you treat your online networking the same way that you treat your real world networking, and what I mean by that is that if you weren't going to walk up to somebody at an event and say, hey, look at me, well, don't do it online either. If you want to walk up to somebody and say, hey, I'm a big fan, or hey, I really enjoyed what you did with this, I'd like to introduce myself, this is what I do, I think that's okay. But to me, it's always about giving first, giving something to that person first. And usually I like to say give first, second, and third before you ask for something in return.
So let's say a young filmmaker wants to launch a Twitter account. It's the first day, they've come up with their profile name and what their bio is going to be. What would they start tweeting about? Maybe they're planning on a crowdfunding campaign a year in advance. What would be some things that they should
Well,
start?
I think the first thing they need to do is make sure they have a completed bio. It's the biggest mistake that people make on social media is they don't complete their bio, let everybody know what, and it's okay to be cute and quirky, but if you're really looking to accomplish something, you have to make sure that you're putting it out there. If this filmmaker, this hypothetical filmmaker is an accomplished filmmaker, let's say, or somebody that has done something before, I was the director of this short, and here's the IMDb link. Or if you're on multiple social media accounts, I like to say that you should close the circle. And what I mean by that is within every social media bio, you're adding the links to those other social media accounts so that people can get from one spot to another, and you're closing a circle of everything that is you. And it's a big mistake that people make. So that's the first thing I would suggest is that, you have your bio and you're very comprehensive with your bio. Use all the characters and use all the space you can. And that's probably the one area where it's okay to be a narcissist as well. Let people know what you do. If you have a place to, upload a resume, upload a resume. If you have a place to upload clips, make sure you're uploading clips. Use the features the site offers, the social media platform, to your advantage, okay? The second thing I would say is that you want to go out there and you want to let people know, again, what you've accomplished. You want to target people that you feel, in the situation, the hypothetical that you threw out as far as crowdfunding is concerned, for example, you're going to cultivate relationships. You're going to crowdsource, hopefully 3 to 6 months before you start that campaign. you want to be out there marketing before you start that campaign. That's a big mistake that a lot of people with crowdfunding make, is that if you build it, they will come. It never works. Okay, you need to create your audience or build your audience first. I mean, really, you need to identify your audience. You need to engage your audience, and then you need to move your audience, and that takes time. And so from day one, I would say, have a target list of people that you want to follow, people that you think are going to fit in with what you're looking to accomplish. And what I mean by that, it's not just making the film. Maybe it's the subject of the film. If you're making a film that you think a certain group or certain individuals would relate to, if it's a hobby kind of thing, maybe it's something within the story that, maybe your main character is a cyclist and you want to go after the people in the cycling community, just for an example, you do that. And you start cultivating relationships with them, so that when the time comes and you say, okay, the film is now up on Indiegogo, would you please not only support it, but would you please go out there and carry the message of what I'm trying to accomplish to other people? And if you cultivate relationships, you'll get people to go. You'll get people to move for you. But it all starts with cultivating those relationships and making sure you're cultivating those relationships. And that begins with, again, with asking questions and offering information and posting good material and maybe writing some good material as well and reposting other people's material and things of that nature. Being a collaborator as opposed to a broadcaster.